Ooh-wee, what's going on YouTube? It's Donnie B all day. So, remember, never trust a living. Here they might end up like Lizzie Borden. So here's the deal. I was reached out to by brother of the blade, Ty Clinton. And Ty is a knife maker, right? And he saw the video on this, on the large size sharp finger, right? The old timer sharp finger by Schrade. And I did a video and I was breaking it out and I brought out my old one, my small one, where I broke the tip and then I gave it a new tip and I like it so much better. It's stronger. It's just cool looking. It's just kind of badass. So basically this and this became like one, right? These are now brothers. But he said to me, he said, have you ever thought about making a bigger one of these and maybe something with your own flair to it? And I said, you know, I love the design so much, I can definitely see doing something like that. And he said, well, here's the thing. That's not even a word, unless maybe it's French. I don't know. He said, here's the thing. Why don't you design something and send it to me and I'll make it? I'd love to see what you think of my work. And I thought, well, if you're going to make something and it's going to be awesome, because, you know, I mean, when you're that confident, he was pretty confident. I had a feeling this guy's got to be pretty good. And it wasn't until after that conversation that I got to see some of his pieces, and I said, he's really good. The dude can make some knives. He makes some knives. And so I whipped up a design and I sent it to him, and he was like, right freaking on. Now, I don't want to give you all the specs that I sent, and who knows, I might. Hold it, maybe I will. Hold on. All right, I pulled it up so it'll be easier to find. So basically, he wanted something like this, but bigger. He said, my version of a sharp finger style knife. And I love the knife because it's a total classic. Now, what would I change? I would change the slickness of the grips, maybe. I would change the fact that there's nothing really except a small swell to hold your hand on. But when you're skinning, you're not thinking about losing the knife anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I would give it a little bit of that. I would change up just a few things, and I would just make it a little bit better if I had my way. So he says, well, let's have your way. He goes, I want to make one. And that's it. So I was like, all right, well, here's the deal. If you make one, I said, why not let's promote it and maybe you make more, because he's already taking orders for knives. The guy is a knife maker and he's awesome. So I came up with a design. And he actually said, hey, yeah, you should make one. You know, you should make one because it's called the sharp finger. You should make one, make it like the middle finger. And I thought, if I was going to name it, that would be exactly like, that's my kind of name. So when I sent it back to him with the design, he said to me, well, you don't have to keep the name. I said, no, the name is perfect. So this is going to be the dbad middle finger, and what's going to separate this from some of the others is this is going to be a made in America knife. Now, this doesn't change any of my work with KHHI. They are still doing the Krogall, and they're still doing all this other work. But it's going to be nice to have extra options, and there's some people who just really want a made in America knife. And they want a dbad design that's made in America, and I'm 100% grateful. So here is the design I came up with. This is the dbad middle finger. Oh yeah, you can see that this thing is going to be 11 inches overall of 1/4 inch thick, 50/160 steel, with micarta scales and red liners. It is going to be sweet. So now you'll see right here, there's like a little doo-doo-doo. What that's going to be. And I told him we could work on that. We could either do it like, you could do it 90 degree, which is what I wrote originally, but then I messaged him saying instead of 90, we could either do a wedge or a full sharp in there. And what it is a ferro rod striker. That's what that little guy is going to be. So you have your choil, boop, right there. And what's going to happen is your choil will lock your hand into here, and then right here is going to be a rod striker. So with your thumb on top of the knife, it's going to give you a spot where you can have 100% grip and control, but just angle. And you're going to be able to, you see a lot of people, they try to turn their knife around to use the spine, or they try and pull their ferro rod while holding the knife in the proper grip. It's really hard to strike a ferro rod in your proper grip unless you're using your ricasso or your choil. So this way you don't have to damage up your choil, and it's going to be right there. So it's going to be control, 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 which is going to provide ultimate spark. When you're talking about a ferro rod, spark comes from grip angle and power, right? So with all that together, that's what it's going to be. You'll notice, obviously, you'll see that there's a well, there's a finger well. That's your choil right here, and then it's going to kick out at the end. So it's going to hold your hand so nicely. I also threw in a lanyard hole right there. A lot of people are just lanyard hole freaks. Now, just like on this one that I redesigned, I changed the tip and gave it a nice, meaty, fat, strong tip in the design, and thought this is where it's going to be. This is how the knife has to be. For the sheath, we're going to do a Kydex sheath, and it's going to have a ferro rod attachment on it. So you'll have your rod right there. You'll have your striking knife. This thing is going to be an all-out outdoors knife, just good for everything. It's not going to be your chopper. It's not going to be your, when I say good for everything, you know what I mean. You're going to be able to skin, and you're going to be able to process. You're going to be able to light your fire. Boom, just like that. It's going to be really cool. So he gets the design to his house, and he puts it on a piece of steel. And it's kind of hard to tell a size because, 11 inches long. But here is the design cut out and onto the steel and ready to go. And now I'm only showing you these up to this one more point, this one more part, because so far this is where it's at. But you could see his initial grind is there. It's going to get a little bit deeper, a little bit bigger. But I mean, can the guy make a knife? So this is so far where we're looking. This grind is going to come up just a little bit more, and it's going to be obviously smoothed out and all this. But this is going to be the first ever dbad American-made knife that you can order. And I have to say, it's coming out mighty freaking nice. I mean, mighty nice. So while we were talking, he says, well, what about some other designs? We could work on something, blah, 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 blah. And I thought that would be another great idea. And so then I started thinking to myself, well, I had the design kicking around for a long time, and I even offered it to somebody before who ended up kind of being a prick about it. He's a guy on YouTube that makes knives. I'm not a fan, but is what it is. Long story short, he says, it's been done before, and I was like, no, it hasn't. And then he showed me a picture of something that he tried to correlate it with, and it was completely different. Now, there's a lot of EDC knives out there, fixed blade EDCs that are clip points. There's a lot of them, but there's no miniature size, and you can buy like miniature size, like exact, like a full-size Musso shrunk, so every part of it shrunk, but there's no EDC sized actual Musso buoy. So I was working on a design, and I thought about what I was recently doing with the Kukri House, making the Krogall's coming, and then there's going to be a full-size Musso design, right? And then I thought it's going to need the EDC version, and this is just the first draft. It's going to be a little bit worked on, but you can see this is going to be an EDC with spine guard, welded on spine guard, welded on guard. The guard will most likely be flat here, and it might just change a little bit there. I might even make it a little round here, but it's going to be an EDC Musso buoy. So I could change the handle and make it more original Musso, but the main thing is this part right here, boop, and then this part right here with the spine guard on it. It has to just be and scream Musso. So I think, and I gave him a few design ideas that we can work on together, and I think he's loving it. And what we're looking at is possibly having a new line of knives. He's going to be making them himself, so he's not going to be putting out 40 knives. You could go buy them. It'll be per order. But, man, they're going to kick ass. They're just going to kick ass. Okay, one more thing I was working on People are always asking about gear, different things. I was thinking about doing some patches. You know the nice rubber patches you can get? They're Velcro, but they're raised rubber. They're like 3D kind of rubber. Well, I was talking to some people and I was told them I need to come up with a design. So I'm thinking about doing a dbad running with knives rubber patch. That's all going to be in the works. I'm still kicking some buckets, trying to figure out exactly how I want it and what it's going to be done. But that's what's going on. But the main thing here is made in America, dbad knives. Are there going to be some? Yes, there are. And it's going to be awesome, man. This first one, the middle finger is going to be like, it's going to be the first rollout of dbad designs made in America, which is really cool. And not the ones I make. The ones I make are a little different. I usually just make them for me or as a gift. But this is going to be a full out one of my designs, put to steel, done proper, and kicked out. So I'm pretty stoked about that. He's pretty stoked about it because it's coming out really good, and he can see exactly where it's going. Now, Cookery House still has a bunch of my designs, and they're still going to be making designs. And it's basically, people say, oh, it's great because it's so affordable. You've got to remember, when you're talking about made in America, prices are a little bit more. So while they are going to be more than the Cookery House, the prices are going to be really competitive for handmade knives in America. This guy's just dope, man. He's dope. So I'm going to keep in contact with him. This thing's almost to the point where it's almost ready to go, and I cannot freaking wait. And then we're going to see, man. We're going to see about just making this whole world shake a little bit with some really cool designs. We're going to come up with some original stuff and made right here in your own backyard. So that's it for that. I'm out. I am down to be all day. Until next. And forgot my sign off. Until next video.